Imagine a world cloaked in an endless blanket of white. The air is so cold it bites at your skin, and the silence is absolute. Now, imagine a shadow in that silence, a ghost that deals death without a sound. This isn't a horror movie. This was the reality for Soviet soldiers during the brutal Winter War of 1939. They called him Deadliest, the White Death. Today, we're diving into the incredible true story of Simo Häyhä, the deadliest sniper in recorded history. Before he was a legend, Simo Häyhä was just a humble farmer and hunter from a small Finnish town near the Russian border. He was a quiet, unassuming man, barely 5 feet 3 inches tall. He loved his simple life, spending his days working the land and his free time honing his marksmanship skills in the local civil guard. He wasn't just good with a rifle, he was a prodigy. He could hit a target with uncanny accuracy from incredible distances, a skill he perfected in the vast, unforgiving Finnish forests. No one, least of all Simo himself, could have known that these skills would soon be tested in one of the most lopsided conflicts of the 20th century. In November 1939, the colossal Soviet Union invaded tiny Finland. The Red Army was a behemoth, outnumbering the Finnish forces by more than 3-1 in soldiers, and possessing vastly superior numbers of tanks and aircraft. On paper, it was a foregone conclusion. The world expected Finland to be crushed within weeks. But the Finns had something the Soviets didn't. Sisu, a Finnish word that embodies extraordinary courage, resilience, and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. And they had the ultimate personification of Sisu, Simo Häyhä. When the war began, Simo was called to duty. He was assigned to the Kala River front, a landscape he knew like the back of his hand. The temperatures plummeted to a bone-chilling -40 degrees Celsius. For the ill-equipped Soviet soldiers, it was a frozen hell. But for Simo, it was his home turf. He donned his simple, all-white camouflage, disappearing completely into the snow-covered terrain. He became one with the winter, a phantom moving through the pines. His methods were as simple as they were brilliant. While most snipers of the era relied on telescopic scopes, Simo preferred the standard iron sights of his Finnish Mosin-nagant rifle, the Seiko M/28-30. Why? Several reasons. First, scopes could frost over or break in the extreme cold. Second, a sniper has to raise his head higher to use a scope, making him a bigger target. And most importantly, the lens of a scope could catch a glint of sunlight, betraying his position to enemy spotters. Simo took no such risks. He was a ghost, and ghosts don't reflect light. His discipline was legendary. To remain completely invisible, he would pack dense snow in front of his hiding spot to absorb the muzzle blast and prevent the snow from kicking up when he fired. He even developed a chillingly clever trick. He would keep a small amount of snow in his mouth. This cooled his breath, preventing the telltale plume of steam from forming in the frigid air and giving away his position. Think about that. The patience, the iron will, to lie perfectly still for hours in sub-zero temperatures, with snow in your mouth, waiting for that single, perfect moment. And when that moment came, he was lethal. One by one, Soviet soldiers would fall without ever hearing the shot or seeing the shooter. The psychological impact was devastating. For the Red Army soldiers, the forest itself seemed to be hunting them. Fear spread like a virus. They tried everything to stop him. They sent their own snipers to hunt him down, but Simo, the master hunter, outwitted and eliminated them. They pounded his suspected positions with artillery barrages, turning the landscape into a cratered moonscape. But after the shelling stopped, the silent killing would resume. Simo would just dig a new hole in the snow and continue his work. The legends grew with each passing day. Soldiers would whisper tales of a single Finn holding back entire platoons. The name, the White Death, became a terrifying myth, a bogeyman whispered about in the frozen trenches. In less than 100 days, Simo Häyhä amassed over 500 confirmed sniper kills. That's an average of more than 5 kills per day, in some of the most difficult combat conditions imaginable. And that's not even the full picture. He was also an expert with a Suomi KP/-31 submachine gun, and is credited with another 200 kills using that weapon, bringing his staggering total to over 700. He did all of this in the short, dark days of the Finnish winter when daylight was scarce. He was a one-man army, a symbol of Finnish defiance against a seemingly invincible aggressor. He wasn't motivated by hatred or a thirst for glory. He was a patriot, a farmer defending his home. When asked later in life if he felt remorse, he simply said, "I did what I was told to do, as well as I could." For him, it was a job, a duty to protect his country. But Simo's luck couldn't last forever. On March 6, 1940, just days before the war ended, his position was finally discovered. In a chaotic firefight, an explosive round fired from a Soviet rifle struck him in the left side of his jaw. The impact was horrific. It shattered his jaw and ripped off most of his left cheek. His fellow soldiers, finding him unconscious and bleeding heavily in the snow, thought he was dead. They said he had half his head missing. But Simo Häyhä's Sisu was stronger than any bullet. He was carried back to a field hospital, where he slipped into a coma. He woke up a week later, on the very day that the peace treaty was signed, ending the Winter War. His war was over. The road to recovery was long and arduous. He endured 26 surgeries to reconstruct his face. The injuries left him permanently disfigured, but they never broke his spirit. After the war, he was promoted directly from corporal to second lieutenant by Field Marshal Mannerheim himself, a feat unheard of in Finnish military history. Despite his new status as a national hero, Simo wanted nothing more than to return to his old life. He went back to his farm, becoming a successful moose hunter and dog breeder. He was a quiet, modest man who rarely spoke of his wartime exploits. When interviewers would ask him the secret to his success, his answer was always the same: practice. Simo Häyhä lived a long and peaceful life, passing away in 2002 at the age of 96. His legacy, however, is immortal. He is not just remembered for the staggering number of his kills, but for his incredible skill, his unwavering patience, and his quiet courage. He was a testament to the idea that one person, armed with skill and an unbreakable will, can make a profound difference, even against impossible odds. He was the White Death, the Winter Ghost, and the humble farmer who became the greatest sniper the world has ever known. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the story of Simo Häyhä. If you found this story as incredible as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing tales from history. Let me know in the comments what other historical figures you'd like to see covered. Until next time, stay curious.